What's up, everybody? Give me a second. Another video real quick. Make sure y'all can hear me. Everything is right. All right. Make sure y'all get them likes up. Watching this game real quick. I mean, I'm gonna be mad if somehow the Miami Heat find a way to lose this game and Giannis ain't even playing. I mean, that's really not gonna be a good look for Giannis. Watching NBA on NBC. I've been working on some business stuff, some digital stuff. Taking a little break. Talk to y'all. Be outside while it's not humid as fuck out here. Let me see if I can angle this a certain type of way. All right. All right, yeah, so I should be able to see y'all comments as they come in. Just like Daniel Scott, Meg Thee Stallion. I mean, hoes. Hoes are gonna be hoes. I mean, I'm not mad at her. Get her money. If she ain't gonna do it, somebody else will. I'd rather it be her than Cardi B. But that's up to the females. But anyway, I just want to do a recap on some of the videos that I were on. So what I'm gonna do going forward is I'm gonna be a lot better about putting stuff on my community tab. I definitely want you all to basically get on my community tab. I'll start putting my Facebook in there too to build that up because I definitely want, and I'm gonna start sharing my videos more and more. But on the community tab is the videos that I just got done, that I listened to, or I've been a part of. So you got Ramil's video, which the hangout that we had on like 52% of millennials are still living with their parents. Then you've got, then you've got, then you've got basically the video that O'Shea did with Cynthia G. And then you've got, so basically all the stuff I'm gonna comment on is on there. So check that out if you want to get the stuff. Also, I got Bernard Riley's video where we were talking about the politics. You were talking about Democrat, Republicans, all that bullshit. So I just want to get my thoughts on that. It's probably be about an hour while I'm watching into this game. Well, I mean, people, yeah, that's true when you say they're laws. That's not an incorrect statement. But you got to understand, at the end of the day, you're accountable to yourself. Yourself, your legacy, your lineage, what you trying to do. And sometimes when it comes to looking and doing stuff for the community, black people got to want to be helped. And they got to help themselves first. You can't, people, and I'm talking about individually as well as collectively. And as long as folks are still trying to justify why people do the stuff that they do, I mean, nothing's going to change. And at the end of the day, this is why when people ask why aren't people doing this or doing that, this is really the thing that nobody really wants to talk about. It's way too many people that want to do what they want to do, and then they're not really looking for help. What they want is people to bail them out. They want people to enable what they're already doing. So let's start with, I want to start off the top with Cynthia G stuff. Nobody be coming up on today. This is a YouTube live. Basically, so O'Shea's got a video. It's about actually, it's another video I'm gonna talk about too. So we're gonna start with O'Shea. And definitely shout out to Celebrity Junks. I definitely like that stuff. The stuff he's doing. I said a while ago that he should do it. I'm probably sure I'm one of many, and I definitely like it. I definitely absorb them. I listen to them about 1.75 playback speed. So if they're like 10 minutes, I'm basically listening to only about 5.5 or 6 minutes. So I get to go through them. I like his King Gonda ones too. So definitely support him. Support what he's trying to do. Go over there and subscribe to his African thing. Even if you don't like him, definitely support the African thing. Even in general, because that's good work that needs to be done over there. And one of the reasons I comment on those videos is for you all to kind of go check them out, because I like, one thing that O'Shea's doing is, and O'Shea and Jada Black, they're not doing the same thing. But one thing I like about Jada Black and O'Shea is they're very quick to the point. It's not a whole bunch of, gossip, just like an hour video. It's very, this is what happened, this is what it is. So it kind of keeps you at least a bridge as to what's going on. So I'm gonna comment on some of those videos that I saw, and then we'll move on from there. So let's start off the top. First of all, let's start with Cynthia G. I don't know why anybody takes what she says seriously. Now I know O'Shea was trying to make a point by putting talk, because Cynthia G was talking. Cynthia G has the, and first of all, one thing that people, I remember when Obsidian said, well, I don't take Cynthia G seriously or anybody else that listens to Cynthia G, but that is it not really true, because the thing about it is, folks will comment on what she says, which is what I'm doing, but at the same time, people will go over to her channel and validate her channel with people's presence. People will do that. O'Shea interviewed Cynthia G. So obviously, people can't say that somebody's discredited, but still like completely like take enough of what they're saying seriously to go over there, comment on them, interview them, and stuff like that. At the end of the day, the reason why people like to listen to Cynthia G is because she's represented. She wears a very like open face about how she feels about stuff. So she's pretty much the prototypical black female as to what they're really thinking. And a lot of the insecurities, she wears all of that. She really does. And that's why a lot of people like really talking to her. It's not so much they're taking what she says so much seriously. It's that she's pretty much like an archetype of the prototypical black woman with all the securities wrapped up in one. If black women was a person and their insecurities, it would be Cynthia G. And so with that being said, see what are we dealing with? It's close game. With that being said, Cynthia G was O'Shea commented on a video that she was doing talking about black men and black men getting with lower class women. And what really, and this is nothing new, what really kind of jumped out was she framed it, at least in the clip O'Shea showed, as black men don't want to compete. So black men don't want to compete, so they go to non-black women. This is like yet another, the black man is not strong enough to deal with my bullshit. And what kills me about stuff like that is, it's like, if you're a female, like only a loser female would, or a woman that's in a loser space would even begin to listen to that. Because a woman, and it's funny because a women, if you ask women, they will say that men are supposed to deal with their crap. And what's funny is, these will be the same women that will say a man is not to strike a woman. And the reality is, it overseas, I'm going straight there. In Arab communities, patriarchal communities, they don't have to deal with this, because the consequence of knocking your ass out and correcting you by corporally is present. It's built in that if you gotta break glass and pull the emergency, it's that it can go there. And it's not just in Arab, it's in Asian communities. You see it in some Hispanic communities too. And depending on the rules by which some of that, so it's kind of like when men, this idea that men are not strong enough to deal with women. I'm like, I'm gonna just go right there. If black men wanted to just straight knock a chick out and correct that, they could do it. This is why only in the black community could women really pull that shit to that extent. That logic could only carry weight in a community in which you basically can run the other men to basically check your men. You, as much as black men have done, you look at black men in the islands or something like that, but anywhere you can't run to the white man, you are, something like that would never even come out of your mouth. And this is not to say that these women are meek. Obviously, in many ways, island women can be more are really more about it than African American women. But it's just certain things that wouldn't come out of the mouth. And people will say, well, you're weak if you hit a woman. Not really, because the truth is, if you're putting yourself in position where you need to get hit, then that is what it is. Now, this is, I haven't hit a woman, but at the same time, you can't speak that language into existence about a nigga needs to be strong enough to deal with you, and then not think you're going to attract dudes that are going to represent that. This is really what's called the law of attraction. So this idea that black men don't want to, this idea that black men just don't want to compete, I would argue, compete for what? I would argue, what are you competing for? And if that's so true, then can you please show me why? Where are the other men? Take other races of men. Where are the other men in the African diaspora that's lining up to deal with African American women? Where is that? I mean, are we really like are we really going to seriously like pretend and some of the stuff that comes out of her mouth, it's very clear. Like, she was probably, other than Janae, she's probably one of the most messed up chicks I've seen on YouTube. And it's very clear that she comes from a lot of trauma, and she has never, probably hasn't gotten therapy. And because here's another thing that people don't say about Cynthia G is, from what I am to understand, and this might not be true, so take it with a grain of salt. Her siblings are married to white people, so it's like my family, everybody, like as far as my immediate family, all my two younger brothers deal with black women. I'm probably the closest one that's hopping. And the reality is, I don't date out like that. But even casual sex wise, most of my brothers are dealing with black women, and they don't have to. And they're dealing with pretty quality black women. My younger brother, whatever, at least they look quality as far as my younger brother's concerned. But and then you look at her and see, this is where receipts matter. And it's just funny because where her power comes from is she attracts people that are in her similar situation, loser ass motherfuckers. But the reality is, most of the time, black men, and the way O'Shea frames it, is he talks about, well, there's some brothers like this, yeah, but it ain't just goofy niggas. It ain't just bum ass dudes. It's the video. What basically, that's a class thing. Low class dudes are gonna deal with low class women, irregardless of the race. And it's the same thing for middle class and upper class dudes. Like, if you're an upper class dude and you decide to hop, the woman you deal with is going to be reflective of this. There is no dudes that are making X amount of dollars that they're just like, they're making $100,000. They got a woman that doesn't reflect that. Now somebody will bring up Ghost. Ghost was with his woman when he had nothing. So his woman, and if you do see a woman that doesn't seem like they're like a model or anything like that, they're reflective of where that dude was when they got with him. That answers that question. But but the truth is, the main thing I want to communicate, and I'm gonna move on, is black men don't hold black women to a standard that we don't hold every other woman to. That's the thing that I think Cynthia G really gets wrong and really messes up. And this is, if I could tell her anything, I would ask her that question. I would say, so you're telling me that black men hold black women to a higher standard beauty wise than we otherwise will hold any other woman. So we need black women to be in shape, but we'll deal with a fat black woman. Is that really what you're communicating? You've never heard her really say that, because she knows that's not true. Because if that was true, black women that are fat wouldn't be able to have children. And that's a lot of black women. Black women, because it's not like black men don't have the sexual access. And really what it's all about is about keeping black women are just as invested at keeping black men only dealing with black women as other races of men are as invested. But that's starting to change. You're starting to see that with the Zillennials. Glenn and Cameron points that out. BGS has been pointing that out. Glenn has been pointing that out. People are not playing that game no more. Not because they hate black women, because at the end of the day, like I told you all, it's just business. There is a standard you are going to have to meet. If you don't meet that standard, there's nothing to talk about. Black men that have options are not going to deal with the gynocracy. If there is no arguing, there is no communicating. I know there's certain dudes that are invested in keeping the lie going, but the truth is, that's on YouTube. That's on YouTube. That's one thing that Erica does say about people coupling up. If you're in Austin or wherever, people are going to couple up. They're going to couple up. It's not necessarily always geared towards race. And people can make this big pro black stink online, but the reality of the situation is, at some point, you all have to make things. You have to make sticking to your own in the best interest of the individual. And if you can't solve that problem, and somebody being pro black, is really nothing to talk about. All of this kind of telling people what they should do and they should stay in line and this, that, and the third without really giving a tangible benefit or really giving tangible benefits or giving tangible options. Like, I mean, really giving tangible options. And people are not hearing that. People are doing what they're doing, and then what they're doing is finding people online to validate it. So when I hear arguments like that, and from her, what people kill me is I was like, so you think listening to Cynthia G is gonna solve any of your problems? Like, I would love to talk to our audience. Like, I would love to give a focus group. What is it about Cynthia G that you like, other than she speaks to your own insecurity and loserdom? Losers tend to gravitate towards each other. I identify with, people say that about Cardi B. I identify with her. Black women, they'll say that about Cardi B. I'm like, what do you identify with? She doesn't identify with you. You don't look like her. You can't get away with some of the shit she can get away with. Oh, you want to be her. That's what that is. And so when you look at social media, remember what I told you. People buy into not what they need, but what they want. So check out that video. It's 8 minutes of bullshit, but it's interesting because she covered that angle, um talking about, oh, well, black men don't want to compete, so they get with other races of women. You all are at the bottom. You all are considered the bottom. You can't compete for what's at the bottom. That's stupid. That's I'm gonna tell you something. Imagine if a black man says that black women can get white men, but black women don't want to compete for black men, so they run to other races of women. Do you understand how stupid and fucking retarded that sounds? Knowing black, even knowing black men's economic that makes no sense. It makes no logical sense, and it's not something that's gonna help you. But at the end of the day, that's the first video. In fact, let me pull my community tab up. But that's always funny because people that listen to Cynthia G are truly goofy as fuck. They really are. Next video I'm gonna cover real quick is gonna be a one that O'Shea put up a couple of days ago with Yaya Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather's daughter, and regarding the NBA young boy. So this is a guy that's 20 years old that has 4 kids. And yeah, shame on him. Shame on him. But the reality is, I mean, he's got the economics for it. Hopefully it doesn't mess his up on the road. But you got female. But this is also dudes see. Women will talk, and then at the end of the day, when this is what they do. It's just not, and the dude already has what, 3 kids by 3 different women, and you caught a serious, you catching a serious charge. Like, the DA is really on this girl to make an example of her. And who knows if that's like really an axe to grind with Floyd Mayweather. And then really analyze it is, you have females. This is one thing you have to understand about your women. Well, I know King Simba would, oh, they're not your women, but whatever. American women, black women, they're bored as fuck. They're bored, and they have no fucking direction. Most of them, even the ones that even get degrees and shit like that, they have no sense of happiness, quality of life, or well being. They're out of balance. Some people say lost. And at the end of the day, they are just like how sometimes white people are addicted. They call them adrenaline junkies, and what that really means, well, you really think about it, is you have to put yourself in danger to get that adrenaline rush. Um, it's the Yeah, this game is close as fuck. It's the same thing with our women. Our women, they are drama junkies. And I mean, to a point where this is something that needs to be a thing. It's very undiagnosed, where they have to be in that rush of shit hitting the fan, the drama. And if you're and what reason I'm bringing this up is because if you're a guy that you're doing on your square, doing what you're supposed to be doing, moving along in the world, setting yourself up, you have to understand that they are allergic to you a lot of times, unless you kind of know how to step into that kind of mode. It ain't about game. It's about stepping into that look of somebody that can put them in danger. They are addicted to danger. They're in drama a lot of times can lead into that. This is why you see women that's always in some shit. And this is why they're attracted to guys that they know conscious, because you got to remember it's not a conscious thing. Women are ruled by subconscious emotions, is housed a lot more in your subconscious than it is your conscious. Your conscious mind is more logical. Your subconscious is more primal. So these women are, in many ways, are addicted to drama. They're addicted to pain. O'Shea would call it struggle love. And so whether they come from money or don't come from money, that was true for even Rev Run's kid, Angela Simmons. Um, they are addicted to, it's not about so much the guy, it's about what that guy represents in their mind. They are imprinted with, and it's not even necessarily, you don't even necessarily have to come from trauma. That's why I brought up Angela Simmons. You don't have to come from trauma necessarily. Because Sierra, it's true for Sierra, it's true for Mega Good, it's true for a lot of these dudes. They ain't necessarily come from trauma. They they are addicted to the rush of adrenaline, the sexual, almost I call it sexual adrenaline. The sexual adrenaline, and when they see a guy, it's kind of like when you're dealing with a female that's like a real strong swirler. You see a look. There's certain females, black females that I've seen. It's not all of them, but some of them where they see a white dude and you can literally see the change in them. It's almost like I wouldn't have knew what to call it if I didn't really look into hypnosis and study hypnosis. It's almost like they get into a hypnotic state. Like I've seen women lick their lips. I've seen women almost their tongue hang out, and I don't mean in a thought way. I mean like almost like a dog watering. And it's kind of the same kind of thing that they get with a lot of these guys. And see, the thing about black men is because men are competitive, we like to say, oh well, that's a feeling that's that dude. The truth is, it really has nothing to do with the dude. It has everything to do to where she's kind of oriented on. This is why I came up with the term vaginal positioning system. And a lot of times, if the dude has a certain look or certain cues, like dreads are a cue, or tattoos are a cue. It's certain things that are like cues that they get from social media. I remember when I asked that girl like a long time ago, I asked her, I said, what is your ideal like man? And she said dreads and gold teeth. And that was, and a lot of dudes like that was crazy, but I promise you, if I were to ask a lot of women, they were to be honest, they would say some similar shit. And it would never occur to them that that type of person doesn't create a good long-term outcome. It would never occur to them that that's what it is. But and here's the thing, it's being, and you gotta, this is how you know people are thinking real primal. Okay, I understand sexual attraction and fuck who you want. And but at the same time, having a kids with these people, having a kid, like it's like, okay, you like NBA young boy, fine. But you having what do you think having his baby is gonna do? You think you gonna be the first bitch? You bitch number four. It's just like you bitch number four. And you look at Future, the chick that crying about Future, talk about she only getting 3,500 child support. It's like you know what time it is, but you still do it. But you really expect people to blame Future. It's like, okay, Future ain't shit for baby number one, baby number two, and maybe baby number three. But five, six, seven, no, 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 no. Oh, y'all volunteer for that BS. And the society is going to tell you what the society wants to tell you because you just benefit from societal control. It's just like how white men just got to eat that. For some reason, white women see a lot of black men as bad boys and they get sexually attracted to them. But that's just the price of keeping black men at the bottom. That's the price of that. And they just got to eat it. It's kind of the same thing with the society there. With women being able to get away with a lot because they're put in that position because they want to be kept in a certain state that allows them to buy stuff, sell stuff, to become hyper consumers. The hyper consumer is the most value. The woman is the perfect. I should do a video called "Why the Woman is a Perfect American" because a woman is buying shit to keep the economy going. Don't save your money. Don't do what you're supposed to do. Buy, 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 buy. The money needs to be a constant stimulus package, and women do that, and then have children, which is what based on BGS work and other people, is what the society wants now. So they keep you in an emotional state in order to do that, and that's far more easier to do that with females. See, back in the past, they used to do that with men via commercials, basically tying sex to every product you would get. This is one dude, I think G Georgia Boy, talk about sex and a hamburger, a Burger King burger. They do that on purpose, sex and beer. They do that because they're trying to get you into a sexual emotional state that makes you want to tie that product to sex. So you buy the product. Now what you see is you see a lot of that advertising energy that has been more liberalized into women advertising products themselves, because the mainstream money is now geared towards keeping women in an emotional state that allows them to be constantly buying shit that they don't want and need. This is why it's valuable for women to have these corporate jobs, because they know the money is saved. The money is just going right out the door. And it doesn't matter if they don't have a man or whatever, because the truth is that's not their problem. That's the women's problem to deal with after the corporation stuff is done using them. Hostile adept, appreciate the chat. Appreciate Black Hulu strikes. So there's a reason for everything. So my point is, when you look at like a lot of these women having babies by these dudes, I mean, they don't care anymore, like, because the shame isn't really there. That's why in the same video you talk about Megan Thee Stallion, talk about policing people's bodies when it comes to the WAP. They want to make it so they can be a hoe and a wife at the same time because they see that as an empowerment. Don't get me started on the biological effects of women not being able to bond with other women, women being imprinted that early with all that stuff, women just not being made to actually be protected and be dealt with. None of that matters, because at the end of the day they've been put into a right now state, because that is how you get them to do what you want. They are like the perfect candidates to be in the matrix. And I'm not just talking about black women, I'm talking about all women. The only reason why you don't have other women that are going out of pocket, because black women don't have anything really to lose in their minds. Black non-black women do. I even O'Shea did another video about how I forget her name, but it was Marvin Gaye, and it was another white chick, like I forget her name, but she regretted not sleeping with Marvin Gaye. And O'Shea made the point that, she Jane Fonda, saying that Jane Fonda may have wanted to sleep and have a fling with Marvin Gaye, but she didn't want to be with him because it's too much for her to lose. And the reality is black men don't give a fuck about marrying white females. Black men have never given a fuck about creating a life with white women. Black men have always wanted to fuck. The black men that want, like black men give no shits about if black men can have sexual access. Like, I'm talking about the men that want to do this. If black men can have sexual access to white women, black men does not give a fuck about a ring. As far as people are concerned, black men get the best benefits of the deal. Now I understand the respect piece, and I understand wanting to be treated like a piece of me. I understand that part. But for the most part, I mean, your own women see you the same way. So I don't. Your own women see you the same fucking way, to be honest with you. So anyway, I'm gonna jump into another thing, but I wanted to at least get y'all thoughts on what I've talked about so far. Oh, I'm getting to that other video, Ramil. Well, yeah. Oh, I didn't realize Obsidian was in here. Well, I mean, see, it just like I understand that's why people share her shit. It's because her shit can be easily debated. But yeah, I thought she would be at like 70,000 subscribers when I saw that 34 when O'Shea was showing it. I mean, yeah, it is, and like I said, again, I want to make it very clear that you all have fucking Boyce Watkins and Tariq Nasheed to thank for Cynthia fucking G. Now I know Tariq is paid for that a couple of times over with fucking Cynthia G doing some skullduggery shit with him. But trust me, I want to make everybody clear, everybody know that is the product of Boyce Watkins and fucking Tariq. Tariq first and Boyce Watkins said it. Obsidian said Cynthia G would never discuss her life entire. Cynthia G will never discuss her own life family because if she did, her entire premise falls apart. All I needed to do was once I found out she was in Seattle, I actually didn't need to know nothing else. That explains everything, and the fact that she still lives in Seattle explains everything. That alone explains everything. Obsidian says Cynthia G is flat out delusional and loves to only go live with black men she can easily push around. That is true, and it's very obvious. And another thing too is a lot of black women do that. I've seen parents do that, like where they get black men to call in. They always have to have controlled settings, and that's one thing about the manosphere. The thing about the manosphere is whether people agree with certain people or not. The manosphere is not going to allow somebody to have credibility that you can't talk to. Now, obviously, at all. That's kind of a big reason why people felt some type of way about, when Obsidian, when he was on Bernard and Angry Man, they locked that down because they didn't know that was a particular show that they were going to do. But you can't just push BS and then think. That's one of the biggest things with Taz too. You can't just push BS and think you're going to hide behind that homonyms and stuff. At some point, the real stuff is going to have to be addressed with logic, and you have to come with something. And one of the things about women, and I'll give Danielle and Concrete credit on the breakdown, because at least they obviously are reachable. But a lot of these females on the other side, I remember this when I used to go on Thought Crimes, like when I used to call in, like, or put in comments. Everything like when they used to go on a feminist rant, everything that they said could be debunked. And I'm like, you all can feel that way all day, every day. But at the end of the day, your narratives are not the true narratives. And at the end of the day, if you really are not wanting to get to the bottom of the truth, you really don't want to solve anything. You really don't. Because this stuff doesn't go away. It just manifests in different ways. Well, it's not, I mean, honestly, man, the only thing Cynthia G is gonna do is she's gonna flip the table if things don't go her way. What time is it? Man, this game is close as fuck. That's all it is. She's gonna like here's the thing about Cynthia G. The thing about Cynthia G is when things don't go her way, she'll just start saying crazy shit. She does exactly what Janae did. And shout out to O'Shea again for doing a video about Janae. He don't even know her, and it's funny, he ain't even seen some of the stuff that I've had to deal with her, and how goofy that shit looks. And that's another thing about Kevin too. Kevin is showing a lot of that bullshit to be exactly what it is. But all she's gonna do is she's gonna say, "Well, black men ain't shit. Black men don't protect their women. Black women are not human. Black women are ridiculous." And I'm like, okay, then where your white man at? My thing is, if black men are all of that, then go get you a non-black man or go get you a non-diaspora man. Like, I don't, who the fuck is holding you back? But I gotta say, that bullshit about saying that black men are afraid to compete for black women. I'm like, show me the black women that are worth competing for. How about this? How about you do a show just like Kevin and the people that can call up are the same motherfuckers? Because Kevin, that bullshit with Kevin's well, that's not bullshit, but that shit with Kevin's camming up these females. These are women that shouldn't even be able to get close to the show, let alone call. And it's only a couple of them that really passed the looks test. I'll at least give Janae that. At least she passed the looks test to get an interest fee. A lot of these women, if dudes, they would be incels. And I'm not trying to be mean. Like I've seen some of these females, and they're not all of them, but I've seen some of these females that call in. I'm like, motherfucker, when I was working at the call center, I fuck. Like, are you serious? And it just goes in, and the thing about it is, you ain't got dudes that are that delusional, not delusional enough to cam up and show they self like that. It's really like David Carroll says, and I don't listen to a lot of David Carroll, but that crap is an undiagnosed. It's a mental illness with some of these folks. And the thing about it is, the difference with dudes when you look at Kevin is Kevin and it was the same thing with Ramil. Black men can fall into a mode real quick and say, okay, at this point, you need to stop talking. You are not a man. You're not credible. See, women won't do that. Well, at the end of the day, man, like I said, and she's already been discredited multiple times. At this point, folks, at this point, once that crap with Robert Perkins came out, at this point, people just don't care. And it's almost like, okay, that's really where I'm kind of talking about the debate piece, because you look at, see, look, he can deal with whoever he wants to deal with, but one thing that gets on my fucking nerves, this is why I don't fuck with Amiri Brown till this day. And I don't fuck anybody that fucks with her like that. I'm not. It's one thing to, when I say fuck with her, it's one thing to go over there and debate her. But anybody actually acts like the shit she's saying makes sense in an alternative universe. No, I'm not dealing with that. That's an unforgivable sin for me, because what I get, because if you think about, see, Boogie, Taz, Amiri, what's his name, Angel Ramirez, that's not a good group you want to be in. This that all well, a lot of them have in common. You may be able to take C Boogie out of that. Is it don't really matter what women do with C Boogie. I can see it's more clout chasing than anything. But the rest of them, they really want to act like she's B1 or some shit like shit is so fucking goofy. And it's like, if you want to deal with a female like that, then damn, grow your own. Stop, because at the end of the day, Cynthia G only got what she got because dudes helped her. Grow your own females. It's not hard for females to get an audience. If you really want to have a woman and a man conversation. Well, Archer, my thing is, if black women want to compete, black women can compete. But the reality of the situation is, how I don't say that to say they are the ugliest women. I'm saying to say you need to understand where you are, the sexual marketplace value. So when you all say shit like compete, that's code for you need to just deal with my shit. And I don't know what motherfucker, and it just tells you the type of, because you would never hear black women, you don't even hear black women say that with African or Caribbean men. They won't pull that because they know they won't do it. They know those dudes are not changing for nobody unless they get a dude that don't really know shit about shit. Katie Rage said he just turned 22. So certified zillennial. Bro, I just turned 22 and now there's no shame on a woman's body count. Dude, you know what I'm gonna start doing? What I really want to do, I want to, because I didn't realize how many younger dudes are listening to me. I want to get some of y'all young motherfuckers, like y'all 22 and under, 23 and under, because like 23 to 18, because I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I know y'all know what time it is. I know y'all know, because the problem is, motherfuckers, this is what the real truth is. I know how these women. I'm 30. I'm 30. I will be 34 in November 2nd, the election, basically day before election. Man, this game is close as a motherfucker. I know how these chicks were. My brother is 10 years younger than me. He's 24 now. I know how these women were. I know how these women were when I was looking at how he was coming up. So you got to remember, he's 24. So that means he's 6 years out of high school, five and a half, whatever you want to call it. So I'm telling you, I've seen how social media has evolved and stuff. Like, it's only 1,000 kids in a school generally, at least in the school. So maybe 1,500. Social media, people never look at local social media within like a city. They don't look at that. We look at stuff from a national standpoint because of our age. But dudes that are like 27 and younger, or like 28 and younger, they're like, yeah, 27 and younger. Social media is a little bit different for them. Because I remember with us, that would have been MySpace. But MySpace didn't really have an algorithm like, Facebook, Instagram does, and all these other stuff. This whole shit, this World Star, that stuff was established on the ground. We had stuff like The Source and Hip Hop, and we still had magazines we had to get. But now stuff from top to bottom is just so much more synergized. And so you got a lot of young motherfuckers, they want it. Like, that's why people don't understand how dangerous like Cardi B is. You got or a lot of this whole shit is. You got motherfuckers that are 13, 14, 15, and we already know what puberty is. You already know that these females are hitting puberty before a lot of these dudes are. And that stuff is just being psychologically imprinting them over in them. Dudes don't give a fuck up. And now to be positive about it, teenage pregnancy is down. It has been trending down. It's been trending down for a while. So let me be very fair about that. But that don't mean nothing as far as body counts. I mean, we don't even talk about body count in the manosphere. I'm sure you niggas got some stories to tell. And the problem is, the dudes that are like 22, 21, the younger dudes, y'all can speak to that. Because if I speak to that, them motherfuckers gonna play the, oh man, you shouldn't be talking about that little girl. You can't talk. But that's some real shit that's going on. Like, people act like these motherfuckers are coming to 18 years old as virgins, or coming to 16 years old as virgins. Shout out to that show back then, with Ti, Bob. They talk about that. You know how these females are. And honestly, if you a 22-year-old, you in the danger zone. Because I used to always say this. I told people, and my friends, I said, y'all better leave them fucking females alone. When you like 19, 20, and you just getting out of high school, you need to break for this. It's over. It's over. Don't be the nigga that's going back to like the high school. Don't be doing that, because now with the Me Too shit, you better stick your ass in college and keep it there. Because you know what these females are about. A lot of these young chicks, they don't give a fuck. They will, a lot of these chicks, and that's the thing that doesn't get said. A lot of these chicks will go on strip club. They will go, because they are out here with an aggressiveness. And at the end of the day, nobody cares. You're gonna go to jail. You check their ID. If these chicks, I'm telling you. And I told my younger brother that they don't care. These women are looking for it. And I saw it with my younger brother. Hell, I was in that situation a couple of times, quite a few times. They're looking for it. They're like, and the thing is, it ain't nothing to them to deal with dudes that are older than them. And if you one of them niggas that you don't care, you gonna be on some Chris Hansen shit for real. And they always try to frame it like, dudes are just going into high school and snatching each other. No, that's not what it is. A lot of times now, these females with Uber and all this, these females are going to them. That's really what's going on. And so folks act like, oh, well, look at what they're doing at 20. No. These motherfuckers are getting started early because they have direct access to this stuff. Remember, social media, a lot of social media has been pornified now. And it ain't like I'm not talking about porn websites. When you look at what some of these females are doing on some of these Instagram lives now, my younger brother has shown me some shit. That's how you think I know who that fuck that curly red is. Like, for real, my brother keeps me plugged into that, because I don't be paying attention to what these young motherfuckers be doing like that. But he keeps me plugged into that, and he's 10 years younger than me. Like I said, I don't even know half these motherfuckers will come to hip hop today. That's one of the reasons why I even listen to the Jada Back and some of them, because they cover that. Because I don't go and look at that. I don't have time to look at that bullshit. Who the fuck is an NBA young boy? Or once I started seeing these motherfuckers wear dresses, I'm like, I'm too old for this shit. I'm just going, anything after 2012 is dead to me as far as music. That was my last year. So when Drake came out in 2011, so basically like what, 2013, that's my cutoff. So I don't even really know what's out. I mean, you know how long it's been since I've actually listened to hip hop radio on my local radio station? It's been a minute. Come on. Oh shit, man, it's 122 minute left. But that's something we don't talk about in the manosphere, because the manosphere is slated older. But man, and people that got kids, a lot of these dudes that got kids, BGS can tell you, like, what time these motherfuckers are on. Man, please, I'm dead ass serious. And some of the stuff that I saw even leaving high school as to where shit was going. And that was before everything had kicked in. That's before everybody is normal. That's, you gotta remember, cell phones are like $100. You get a cell phone like $50 now, a smartphone. Now it's about, do you have an iPhone? Now it's about, oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. It's 1 minute left. 107 to 106. I'm watching this on my Surface. Oh shit. Yo, oh shit. Oh shit. These niggas about to lose. Hold on a second. Hold on, let me see what y'all saying. Yeah, y'all need to get them likes up, y'all. Let's get them at least to like 75. Stop shadow watching. Oh my god. Oh my, how did you not make that? Nigga. Oh shit. Yeah, I don't believe that either. I don't believe that for like, well, six is a okay, so this is what y'all gotta understand. A woman is a six. You can be a six with a fat ass. So that's a little bit different. You can be a six with a body. Because this is one thing that people don't. Now, obviously, if you're talking about like high value men, as Kevin talks about it, it's more of a class thing. So I'm kind of taking that out of it. But if you're talking about dudes that make between like, because you got to remember, 10,000 a month is 120. 100 you making eight. You talk about dudes that are it just, and I'm telling you, it depends. That's all I gotta say. But Paris Milan kind of, I would give Paris Milan that she built a lot of her own stuff on her own. The thing about Paris Milan to separate her from a lot of these other females, she was a chick you can see, and then she tried to play the half and half, and then she went full, on the other side. Because obviously that you got to remember the money is with the women anyway. So for a lot of these women, it's gonna pay them a lot more to be anti male, pro female than it's going on the other side. I mean, you see that with the dudes. It's just like that. And so economics is speaking for them. But it is what it is. It's been a minute since I never got into Kid Organic. Oh shit. Hold on. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Oh shit. Eight oh my god. 8 seconds, 8.9 seconds left, man. These things about to get swept. Yo, I don't want to see another game. I don't want to see another Jimmy, you better put that defense to work. He's talking about the first time she really pissed me off, and I brought up her dad, and then in the reality, and I pretty much I hit a bullseye with that. I mean, to be honest with you, man, you can tell. I mean, she's exactly what I pegged it. She can't. The type of dude she probably want is a white dude she can't get, and the type of dudes she probably want is a black dude. They not really hitting on shit like that, or they not gonna commit to her. They may want to have sex with her, but they're definitely not gonna commit to her. And I still stand by the thing is she's not getting good dick because she wouldn't have that kind of craziness about her if she was. When you understand how like she's not. She's got way too much angst energy. And that's low key where a lot of this colorism anger is coming from too, with a lot of these chicks. All of it is sexual politicking, man. All of it is sexual politics. Oh shit, oh shit. Oh my god. Yo, what happened? Oh shit. I didn't say I don't care about body count, but the reality is it's just something that's not talked about in the manosphere. Yeah, that's a block. Isn't something that's not really talked about in the manosphere, because at the end of the day we wouldn't have a conversation. I mean, we already know that these women's body counts are like out of control. Oh shit, he missed it. You Oh, is he white or is he light skinned? It looks like he mixed. He making us look bad. Oh no, you ain't, you white. All right, good. Oh shit. Oh shit. Hold on, let's see. He gonna make the shit. He's gonna make the shit. Oh, it's going to overtime. Yo, I swear that shit is set up. Oh, I swear that shit's set up. Oh, they gonna go to overheat. Yo, dang, they going to overtime. Come on, man. How y'all not beat them when Giannis ain't even there? It's overtime now. You thought I was 53, nigga? What the fuck? Sorry, young Jay. that 29 goes by like it's a week. 29 is one of the worst years because that shit goes by so fast. Nigga, yeah, you right, average, but I mean, I'm keeping it real, man, dude. These women are fucking. Cause you gotta remember, man. Even if a dude don't want to fuck a chick, black men will take head from virtually any female. You could be a fat chick and you give head. That's how these chicks used to always get in. Like, dude, these like at this point, you can't even ask them how many bodies does it take to be a hoe. You gotta say, okay, how many bodies in a calendar year, in a fiscal year, do you need to be a hoe? They'll answer that question. But if you ask them how many different dudes does it take for you to be considered a hoe, they won't answer. And a few times they will answer, they'll say some crap like 10 to 13. And I'm like, are you really telling me that you think so? It's funny. Oh crap! Oh crap! I know I ain't supposed to do this, but oh crap! Let's see what happens. Oh shit! Oh shit! They try to get it in. Hold on, hold on. They tried to get it in. Let's see. 1.9. Let's see. Is somebody gonna be a hero? Oh, you gonna be my hero? They got Brooke Lopez with his no defensive ass out of there. They say sit your big ass down. We trying to survive. No, it's going to overtime. It was always going. If you didn't get Jimmy, like they made sure Jimmy, but they said, yeah, we gonna get beat. We gonna get beat by Dragic. We are not getting beat. Are you serious? Your last year was 2000, Cisco. I mean, 20, man, the 2000 from 2010 was a good run. I don't know what you talking about. Oh yeah, I'm about to get into that. All right, so let's talk about the video of Ramil. So one thing I got to say overall, that conversation was a very spirited conversation. It was a good conversation. It would have been one thing if I would have been kind of on my own, but with Gabe, it was a lot of good people from a lot of good people that are credible. Gabe's married, obviously on the path to high value man, if not already there. He typically on the grown man stuff, and he said it, and he said not only with him, but his whole family. This is the thing that people have to understand. People have to understand is you have to think. Here's my thing. I'm not. I want to be very clear about this. I am not for dudes just mooching. That is not what I'm talking about. And I think everybody agrees with that. Um everybody agreed with that. However, what you saw this between Gabe, Andre Hatchett, you saw this like there's variability. Even Andre Hatchett, dude that got a house at 22 years old. And to be fair, April Mason's daughter got it at 21 as well. Um he was even saying 25. I may not even go that high. But one of the things that we have to understand is we have to be honest about our economic situation as black people. We also have to be honest that we like to look at everything like a perfect nuclear family, where in actuality, a lot of black people are built in more clans, more like extended family, stuff like that. And the reality of the situation is, I'm not even about to blame this on older generation. I said that on a lot of on Ramil's stream, not blaming it, but I just said what it is. Like if these kids are not prepared, most of the time they're not prepared because they're not told what they need to know. Because a lot of this stuff is basic, but that only becomes an excuse for so long. But the thing about it is, if you're looking at things from an economic standpoint, a household standpoint, and individual households, like so, remember this is what people don't think about when they talk about a household. There's different types of a household. You can have one man, woman, kids, household. You can have woman, single mother, kids, household. Individual, somebody living on there by themselves, whether it's a male or a female, household. People that cohabitate for a certain period of time, household. These are all people that run. These are households, right? Technically, they don't really count like roommates as households and stuff like that. But my point is, part of the issue from an group economic standpoint is our stuff is way too spread out in ways that it doesn't need to be. So what you have to, and one of the things that Hispanics get right is they understand that at the end of the day, if you working, having a place to stay is going to benefit everybody. you know. And they have a much, this is why you have grandma living with like, you know, a dude, even though the dude has a family. You know, this is why you have certain structures like that. But see, the problem with black people is we like to just jump to shaming. We have this, oh, well, you 18, get out type of stuff. But nobody really talks about this is what you need to know. Like Andre broke that down. But and a lot of times nobody really talk about these parents. They go, well, I'm doing the best I can and all. No, you're not. Because the truth is, if you ain't got life insurance, if you ain't got life insurance, and if you ain't got life insurance, if your kid don't know nothing about credit, if your kid doesn't know anything about, you know, I even take the mortgage out, even getting an apartment. These are not things that should be rites of passages for you to learn on your own. These are basics that should be taken care of because no other group does that. And I understand what your caller was saying, and I get what he was saying. But this thing about you being a crash courses is not a rite of passage. We have to stop having these like these rites of passage is based on struggle, to where at this point it's not even economics is not being passed down, basic knowledge of life skills is not being passed down. And so that has to be addressed because it really comes back to people having kids they don't want to have. Also, and you know that's BS. Well, not BS. You know it's on some bull because when he told, I forget what the dude's name is, but he told a story how he basically left at 16 because he didn't want to live up under his parents' roof because they were doing some stuff he didn't agree with, as far as like, you know, telling him he couldn't bring girls home, um, and he had to pay rent, which was really some BS. Cause it's like you paying rent, you know. But I could understand. But long story short, he basically went through his journey, got up, ended up making some money, ended up being that dude. And long story short, his mom is coming and taking money. I've had that situation with my mom too, where it's like they get mad, and it's like because they think you got a blood debt to them. And it's like, look, I handled it differently than he would have handled it because obviously his mom was married, mine wasn't. So I basically said straight up, this is what we gonna do, and this is how we're gonna get it set. And see, she bought into that because my mom is an independent person. She don't really want to be. It hurts her ego to be dependent on anybody. So she bought into it, and trust me, it wasn't an easy road because motherfuckers want to do, women want to do what the fuck they want to do. But the point is, this shit worked out. Man, he went a different route. He went the route saying you want to divorce that dude that you married to because I'm not gonna take care of no dude. And he had every right to say that. He should have said that because my thing is, how the fuck you got a man in your house? And this is another thing that I said earlier on before he said it. I said a lot of these chicks got dudes in their house that they're serving other purposes other than economically. They're there for emotional support. They're there to fuck. And see, women got to stop validating that too, because this is why women get to dudes that are productive and they don't want nothing to do with these dudes because everybody, the society is taking care of everything else, or they're able to leech off of other folks. And so that's a great discussion. You should talk about it. But my personal opinion is, I'm from a group economic standpoint, I'm about having intact households. Now, does that have to be necessarily nuclear family? Not necessarily, but they do need. But one thing I agree with the Boyce Watkins said is your first home business is your first business is your family. And the reality is, the way my stuff works is, you know, my mom, what the way it worked was my middle brother actually like really left. I decided to stay, and my younger brother stayed, and then we served as like an anchor. So if somebody needed help, then our stuff was already together, and we did that until everybody got together. I used that as a metric for stacking my money to do some experiment with some of the business stuff I wanted to experiment with. And then as we paid stuff down and had and less of the bills, I was able to take that excess money and use it to create flipping opportunities. That's what I did. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't give it. And you know the niggas that be buying motels and stuff like that for bitches, because that's why you think dudes do that. It ain't because they don't want to bring their chick to the house. It's because they still, around. And even if you living with a roommate, that don't necessarily mean you be bringing girls. I mean, the point is if people fit the bill, then they fit the bill. But as black people, I'm gonna keep it real. There's a lot of dudes that are rooming with somebody and they doing all right, that they might stand and want to go back to the house in order to help everybody get good. Now, if people ain't gonna follow orders or they're not interested in that, they're not interested in that. But now Ramil was talking about the video game niggas, and no, that's a, like if you're in that situation specifically to what he's talking about, then yes, because at that point you're a burden. But the way I would have framed the conversation was I would have framed the conversation as being a burden, meaning are you not being a burden versus just necessarily living at your house. You got motherfuckers that they got divorced and lost everything and they got to go back home because they got kid took. And now people say, well, I'm just making excuses. I'm like I said, the real metric is, are you a burden? That's what the real metric is. Are you basically living in your house, not paying rent, not doing nothing, not being an asset? Because at that point, it could be that you just rooming somewhere and you just buying a room. Like people will go talk about shout out to Seattle. There was one here yesterday. He was talking about, pay $1,500 for a room. And it's getting like that. So when I was talking about the economics of the situation on the ground, you got like the majority of motherfuckers are homeless in California. Personally, you shouldn't be living in California unless you got paper. But at the same time, there's a reason why millennials are doing that. There's actually overall economics of stuff. Everything is way more expensive than it used to be. And everybody's not gonna be no entrepreneur businessman. That's not how society, see, this is where BGS kind of has Ramil on that. Ramil wants to apply his individual mindset to a macro situation. And this is where when BGS starts talking about we're all interconnected and motherfuckers don't want to hear that shit. And then motherfuckers talk about UBI and they get mad about UBI. But at the end of the day, man, you have to address the other shit. Also, I didn't say this on the thing, but I didn't agree with what people were saying about, corporations should get income, get welfare, just like people. That's bullshit because the truth is corporations get taken care of before people anyway. That's facts. Number one. Number two, corporations get tax breaks. They get better tax breaks than anybody does. Dudes don't be getting payroll tax breaks. Also, corporations benefit because when you think about the quote unquote welfare, that money goes somewhere. When you get Section 8, you got a lot of people that have LLCs that own property that are making money off of that. What do you think, you know how much money Walmart makes off EBT? Why do you think why do you think the dollar store is starting to take EBT? Why do you think there's so many more people starting to take EBT now? Because EBT is a revenue source. It's basically government money. So that's welfare. So that passes through a person, but at the end of the day, the profits go to Walmart. That's one of their biggest revenues. So that stuff goes to them anyway. So what you really essentially doing is kind of double paying them. And for what? Yeah, they down by 2. So I didn't agree with that. But at the end of the day, man, you had people that were credible that definitely gave a little bit more balance to it. And even when Andre talked about get a house, I hear what he's saying, but it's going to be certain people with that mindset, but that's not something you just give somebody. That's somebody you got to kind of grow people into that mindset. Like my thing is, in my personal opinion, you should be setting your kid up to move out. If you want to move out by 18, then that means you need to be setting them up by 13. Meaning by 13, you need to be telling him what he needs to know. You need to be giving him like you need to be setting him up with getting credit. Like not when I say credit, I'm talking about like a secure credit card. You need like they allow you to get that shit as early as 16. You're supposed to be setting these people up, but a lot of these people ain't. And then it becomes well, you got to do it on you. And see what's funny is that's the same thing these old niggas will say. Well, you need to figure it out on your own. The problem is everybody's got to figure it out from scratch on their own, and then they're expected to compete with people that don't have to do that. They don't have to do that. And so another thing too is when you see that every race, and it's not just, oh, well, millennials just ain't shit. It's not just that. It's not just that. Gas is cheaper. Everything was cheaper back then. Inflation is a lot more off the chains than it ever was. Yeah, we got the internet. Yeah, we got information. But man, now you really almost gotta have a college education to get a decent job before you even in the 90s. You man, please. If you had a college degree, you were pretty much guaranteed to be employed at a solid employment or management employment. Or you can work your way into stuff. And I'm not making excuses. I'm telling you what it is because black men are more vulnerable to this than any other group. Because they ain't letting us in corporate America like that. And then the other side of that, and that's what the thing I brought up before, was people would say, well, you need to get out, be your own person. But at the same time, when you become your own person, now they want to be a burden to you and they feel like you owe them something. And then they get mad when people tell you like it is. And then now part of that thing with what's it called said about people are afraid to suffer, that's true. I do believe that, and that is something that is out there. But I also believe that part of it is you got to be giving people viable options. Now, and that's why I said, when you get 18, you're supposed to be telling somebody at like 14 years old. You need to be really talking to him about the military, the National Guard. Do you want to go to school? Because real talk, when you're 14, you're in the ninth grade. So they supposed to be getting on a path to something. Like, so because when you get into high school, senior high school, you're supposed to be on a track. Are you on a track to go to community college? Are you on the track to go to military? Are you on the track to go to 4 year school? And then you're supposed to lay out the pros and cons to everything. And then really that 18 to 21 gives you really 3 years of like three kind of safe space years, in my opinion. Yeah, they up by two. This is where Lopez earns his money because Lopez is for a big man. He's an excellent free throw shooter. Tackman Clan Killer Eric he blessed with Jules. Appreciate that. Latrell Pollard. Appreciate the show. Keep it. Man, I appreciate the money, man. Definitely do. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but then we and see that's why I was pushing back against that because then when you look at all the help immigrants get that are males, white men get with white privilege because that still is in full effect. Black women get this is why they be dropping kids. I mean, you got man, please, man. So when people and at the end of the day, if you somebody where you just straight mooching but understand that ain't nobody letting black men just straight mooch. If you and that's another thing. You like I said it before. You look at that 52%. We not talking about the dudes that live with a chick that's really low key mooching on a chick. We not talking about a dude. Oh, he made it. He made it. Oh, he made it. Yo, we not talking about like there's a lot of situations that stuff doesn't cover, and it's not me defending it. I just want let's have a real conversation. Another thing I'm gonna say now, I'm gonna move on from that is, you know, black men gotta learn how to talk to other black men. At the end of the day, these people are gonna do it or they're not gonna do it. But if we put ourselves in positions where we're shaming black men, oh my god, yeah, Middleton earned his money. Yeah, he they won it. Is that was that Middleton? Yeah, that dude, like all that shit that people were talking. At the end of the day, they're gonna get eliminated though. But that is, I'm gonna tell you something. This don't look good for Giannis. That they ended up winning, rallying after Giannis left because he got hurt early. This was like what the second quarter. Oh, Middleton looked like a dude that you just can't believe is real. It can play basketball. Like you would have to see it to believe it. But anyway, but like I was saying, appreciate it, Fast Attack. Appreciate super chat. So yeah, man, people like you gotta know how to talk to folks. And my thing, and I'm not this thing about shaming people, call them little boys. Like you say that shit in people in real life, them motherfuckers don't fight your ass. You in the barbershop, you gotta really. I'm not saying you can say what it is, but at the same time, man, don't say what it is and you ain't giving nobody no option. Now Ramil was doing that, but my thing was it's like at the end of the day, people are always gonna talk about you don't know my situation, but that's why it's better to just lead with the options. They either pick it up or they don't. Like what I would say, if somebody, let's say somebody like 26, 27, and they still live with their mom, a lot of times these dudes are gonna get frustrated. They're gonna get angry if you start shaming them because the thing is they may not see an option. And I'll tell you, I said, look, man, I know somebody that's like 34 years old and they went in the National Guard. And the thing about it is, you may be in a situation where a parent is about to push you out and you don't know what to do because they didn't do their job. Yo! What? They didn't do this dude, who is that dude? That can't be Drodges. No, yeah, I knew that wasn't Drodges making them clutch threes. Yo. Yo, oh man. But anyway, and the best thing I would say is I would have brought up that thing where not Ramil Marcus at 34, so it's an option because at least dudes want options, especially when they need it. They don't necessarily want nobody to talk down to them. And now if they don't want to do none of the options you give, well then that's on them. And then Darwinism is gonna handle that. And we already know how Darwinism treats us. But this thing with folks are not gonna listen to you. People just, oh man, you ain't shit. Blah, blah, blah. It's all these lazy millennials, blah blah. And then the first thing somebody gonna be like, well, dude, you live with your brother. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm like, you ain't got your shit together so much. It's like you rolling in dough since you want to talk about America's like the greatest. So, you know what I'm saying? People are not gonna really, that's when people start getting back and forth, and then it gets away from doing the help. So I typically don't like to be judgmental like that. I like to say, look, I don't need to know your situation. I'm gonna throw the options out. That's up to you. You either do it or you don't. Like it is what it is. And because you know what's funny? What's funny about a lot of the dudes, the very dudes that we talking down to, would be the dudes that somehow able to find decent looking bitches to fuck. The very dudes that we talking down to is somehow be able to find a married woman to dig down. That's the funny thing about it. And then we now it becomes the classic black man versus Pookie debate. Yo, this game, it's 3 seconds. Like this, we gonna see. Wow, he's a rookie. The dude that won Rookie of the Year, I forget his name, Jay Laurent, I think. Yeah, he deserved to win because Zion wasn't there, and Jay Laurent, he was killing it. That's gonna be a new rival because that dude is gonna be the truth. Exactly, Black Who, you are right. And that's the thing. You got to have empathy. Now, if you give people options and they don't want to do it, then they don't want to do it. And it's like, okay, because you already know what life has in store for them. So I don't need, oh, nigga, you ain't shit. Because the truth is, I can tell that to him. But then at the same time, if a chick, you like Black Who, that was really supposed to happen is when women are supposed to not sexually validate dudes like that. Oh, yeah, this ain't working. Yeah, yeah, yep. They didn't have no timeouts left. Yeah, Middleton earned his stripes. Middleton definitely earned his stripes. But if what's called leave, they breaking that team up because ain't nobody gonna go to Milwaukee like that. They lucked out. But yeah, and the thing of and dudes are just gonna they ain't gonna care. They ain't gonna care. It ain't like they ain't gonna care about what you saying if you just come at them like that. They not. If anything, they might want to fight you. Because number one, especially if you lead with that, and then, granted, he was giving options. Like I said, it was. We all agreed that was a great discussion. It turned out to be a really, really great discussion. It really did, because nobody was sitting here just arguing for people mooching and stuff. But at the same time, I mean, Jimmy Butler kills me. But at the same time, that was a good. If you're gonna take an L, that was a good L. Like they didn't get lazy with that, but they should have won. That should have been no excuse with Giannis not being there. I don't know what y'all was doing. But oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The truth is, the women are not supposed to have sex with dudes like that. That is supposed to be what the natural order of things are. You're not supposed to say, oh, well, he lived with his mom, but he cute though. So da da da. That's what goes on. That's a lot of what goes on. And don't even get me started with a lot of these dudes to be living with these chicks with Section 8. That's another thing that study doesn't show. A lot of these dudes are living with these chicks with Section 8 on the low because they not paying rent. And so people, but then people gonna talk about you and your mom. And I hear that, but there's other ways that people do that too. And I'm like, I'd rather dude live with his mom and then they put a household together that they both can benefit from until that dude can break away or something. And then a dude do the same thing with another female, and then they bringing a baby into it, and then it's just struggle love. But see, and but a lot of times when you have tunnel vision like that, you're not thinking about the bigger picture like that. But like I said, Ramil definitely be having some great discussions over there, and it's definitely worth listening to because it was a very good debate. I mean, he's very good with the topics, very good with the topics. What else was I gonna say? I pretty much covered a lot of it. See a video with O'Shea talk about BBW Lizzo is only interested in athletic men. Yeah, that's how these chicks be thinking. They really be thinking that and that's another thing that you only see in the black community is black women with athletic dudes. And by the way, since we on the topic, I didn't even mention that, and I wish I would have mentioned that on Ramil shit. Whenever you see a black man this in shape, sometimes these dudes look like they ain't eating. It's not so much they in shape. They got that poverty thickness where they in shape because they ain't got access to enough food. I'm just saying. But whenever you see a dude that's with a fat chick like that, you already know she's taking care of him. You already know what time it is. So there's a lot of situations when you break it down that often gets missed. Yeah, man, he survived. I mean, that would have been bad if they would have got swept, but they still losing. Jimmy Butler is way too competitive. Oh shit. That's yeah. They talk about Donovan talk about will sisters ever win back high value men. So you got Donovan, nigga. You got like half that panel don't even fuck with black women like that. Are you serious? Like that's gonna be a shit show right there. That's gonna be some clips on that motherfucker. Let the triggering begin. You already know. And Donovan mad at Obsidian about the that damn Diniga shit too. Yeah, they the boy they whew, I don't even watch that show. That's gonna be some shit. Oh yeah, the Republican and Democratic thing, man. I don't even need to talk about that. I've already said what I think about that. Talking about membership program. I'm curious what that is. All right, I'm almost finished. Let me see what the fuck. I'm about to head this out. I appreciate all y'all super chats. Well, I mean, one thing that gets on my nerves is I understand why Kevin uses the term high value man, but in the black community, we have a tendency to gimmick everything. Now, high value men is like the new alpha and beta. So everybody, like at the end of the day, man, like I said before, nobody like the fucking you're a high value man. The end of the day, man, if you getting bitches, that's the only thing people care about. Like real fucking talk. Access to women. And it's like something the title. And I'm not taking away from what Kevin's doing, but I already know how black people do in this space. They like to make everything. They like to make everything a gimmick and be like, oh well, I'm a high value man. I'm this. I'm that. Motherfucker, I'm me. And at the end of the day, these are what the facts are. The facts are is you make $50,000 or more individually, not household, but individually, you're in the top 20% of black men. If you make really to get in the top, if you make 100 and like, if you make what Kevin's talking about, you're in the top 1%. Period. And then another fact is, your women don't have access to the other top 10% of non-black men like that. These are the facts. Period. So at the end of the day, you really only need to be making like, if you make like 75, 80,000. Now, obviously it depends on if you living in a big city or not. New York, San Francisco, LA, you know, DC, that cost adjust what you talk about for cost of living, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. Then you look at looks, which is you got your body right. What are the beauty markers that you have? Fitness, height, stuff like that. That's what these women are looking for. And at the end of the day, the way it is most of these females, as proven by Kevin's show, they are giving free sex to the dudes that look good that ain't got no money, and then they're getting with dudes. They're what one of the things I will say about Kevin's show too is what you find is a lot of dudes are, you got cleanup men, then you got what's called placeholders. And Kevin's show, two things Kevin show is a clinic for. Kevin show is a clinic for if you want to learn, see somebody in real time over and over deal with objections. Kevin shows a clinic for that. And Kevin shows also one of the things, another angle to look at with Kevin's show is these women are using men. They're time wasters. They're using men as placeholders because they have this thing where they have this I can do better syndrome. And they can do better until they're past the wall, which is another thing for I just want to be in the streets. At the end of the day, you're competing for the streets. This is why when people say stuff like pump and dump is bad, it kills me. Because these women, they want to be in the streets. They want to throw that thing around. You got like even fucking Jane Fonda wish she didn't throw that shit at Marvin Gaye. I mean, it is what it is. Is that every black woman? No, it's most. And it's most women. Most women it can will. Unless they got something to lose. And even now with white women, real talk, unless white women ain't really paid like that, they don't give a fuck. And even white women are paid, they're going to try. They don't care because they know if they look good enough, somebody will take them back. Unless they have a baby, that's when they really. That's why a lot of times these women ain't trying to have babies with you because they know that's when they locked out for real. But even then, a lot of them don't care. I know white women today that, man, they got the D back when I was in high school, and they with lily white dudes today. And I'm not gonna say they got ran through, but if they saw, because they didn't get ran through, but they had some black boyfriends, and if the dudes that they with today knew that, they would be insecure. And I mean, these are lily white folks, lily white folks. Got them an engineer and all of that. The difference is they know when to stop and when to move on and get a dude. Sisters don't know when to do that. Sisters will take it all the way to their 30s and 40s. But that's another thing that doesn't get talked about is those placeholder dudes. Because a lot of women don't count cheating when they look at their body count. If they with a dude, they going to try to act like that dude, that's the same dude, just a different dick. Like, seriously, though. So the reality of the situation is, what happens is, what Kevin's show proved is you got a lot of women, they'll be in these placeholder relationships or these situationships for like years. And then when Kevin actually breaks that down, what you find is they were wasting the dude's time. The dude was actually more committed than they were. And then what doesn't get said is they probably dealt with a couple of dudes here and there, and then those dudes weren't committed, but they were like in a relationship. Like with dudes that didn't give a fuck. And the thing is, it's on those dudes to recognize that. I know it's hard for dudes to let shit go. And that's one thing that jumped out that when I was listening, I was like, damn, these chicks are in these relationships, and they're in relationships like they are 20. Women act like they're 20 for like 20 years. They act like they don't turn 30 until they really turn 40. That's really what they thinking. The way they talk. Well, I was there. They all these relationships, they'll be 6 months, a year, 2 years, and a lot of it is they fucking around. They fucking around. They're in situationships that's comfortable, and they're just lulling through life. And these be females that be just so upset when dudes cheat. But they're fucking around because they really believe that women really, like, the thing about it is, if you could tell women in your family something, it would be, honestly, you need to treat your 30s like it's too late. Body counts of a 1995 Lexus LS 400 LOL, check her VIN number. Absolutely. And people would talk about, and don't fall for that bullshit. That, well, these dudes are insecure. No, it's not insecure. That's like somebody selling you a lemon to buy, like telling you a lemon. It is really a car for you to own, but it's really a fixer upper, and they're not saying that, and they're just saying you're insecure. It's like, no, that's a manipulation tactic. That's a manipulation tactic. I mean, whatever. If that's, I mean, I'm not about to argue. Like, it gets to a point where I'm not. No, that's Marty. If you like, that's not what he's doing. Like, one thing that I'm gonna say to all y'all is, if y'all don't look at the show, don't comment on it, because y'all are making, like, y'all are saying stuff that's not what he's doing, and a lot of that is just a lot of that is just rumor spreading. It really is. Like, y'all, well, I'm afraid that, first of all, you already got to. I mean, O'Shea just did a video that I see in my stream talking about Lizzo wants athletic men. There's nothing Kevin's doing. Like, first of all, these women are calling, saying what they want. So they're already there. So let's be real here and stop acting like, oh, well, Kevin's influencing average women and one high value men. No, high value men is who he's talking about. It ain't his fault, the women that call in and what they're trying to call in, trying to get. So I think a lot of folks are putting blame on people where it doesn't apply. Exactly, they don't. And the real reality is, and like, that's one thing. Like, looking at O'Shea's video when it comes to a lot of the swirler channels, is that the is you see that you put some of these dudes, and these are not quote unquote high value men, but you put these dudes in front of a audience, then the audience is gonna holler. These women, like, women don't give a care when it comes to doing that. They do not care when it comes to taking another person's dude. That there is no sisterhood code with that, because they see these dudes as dick and attention assets anyway. Nicholas Parkinson says elaborate on body count matters. Body count matters because if a woman has a high body count, she doesn't have an ability to bond with you. One of the reasons why back in the day, when I say in the day before the modern times, why you see these laws where these women can, get married, they could consent to marriage on their own at 16, or and even as low as 12 with parents' consent, is really that was a form of matchmaking, and that was a form of, you can imprint these women. And nowadays, these women have already been imprinted. This is why Arabs and stuff want to check the hymen and stuff, because if another woman has sex with another dude, then chances are she's imprinted, means she's not going to be biologically loyal to you. This is why a lot of these women, they act like they can't bond with nobody. That's where that comes from. And I'm not justifying dealing with women like under 18, but what I'm talking about is a lot of these women are, they're by the time they're 18, they can't, by the time they're 21, they can't bond with nobody. This is why they're starting to talk about, well, I need a man with big dick, all this, because what they're telling you is they can't bond. So the barrier, so the level that they got to get basically torn apart in order to be able to bond with another dude is really subconsciously what they're speaking to. The problem with that is that makes it so they're really not wife material. And some people would say, well, men are just insecure. Well, at the end of the day, like Kevin said, a man is supposed to lay down his life for a woman, and a woman is supposed to follow a man. So if a woman can't follow a man doesn't need to lay down life for him. And how many of these women are worth laying down your life for? That's why body count matters. Women are not men. Women cannot fuck that many dudes, and then still bond. A man can still have an emotional connection with one woman while fucking many different women. It's because we're biologically wired different. I'm sorry if people see that as not being fair, but it is what it is. This is why you see a lot of these women are fucking fucked up in the head later on. It's because it's certain things that no matter what you do, you just can't get around. I'm not saying what hasn't happened. I'm just saying it is what it is. And me personally, I wouldn't like. I don't know. It is what it is. But you know, you got to understand that a lot of times, just because a woman lets you fuck them, don't mean that she's loyal to you. And a lot of black men fall into that trap. Where thinking she on the team just because she letting you hit. And remember, there's a reason why women can make just as good at make. In many ways, women make better spies than men because women use sex as an equalizer. And a lot of dudes need to start recognizing that and put women in their proper place. Well, oh yeah. I don't know who in the manosphere is saying that. I don't know who in the manosphere is saying that. It's just something that's not talked about. But if somebody's saying that, they're fucking stupid, and I would say that directly to them. You shouldn't care about a body. What are you talking about? Anybody that says that, you shouldn't be listening to as far as dating advice. Now, there's a difference. When I say not deal with them, I'm talking about like I'm not talking about have sex with them because if you want to pump and dump them and have casual sex with them. And by the way, let's be clear. Pump and dump, as Ramil talks about it, is basically you are establishing that is a sexual relationship. If that is a sexual relationship first, that is the value that relationship has, meaning your time is directly correlated with the sex that you're getting, period. The dump part comes in when that chick wants to operate outside of what she initially agreed to. If a dude wants to holler at a female, or a female is cool with it, they can choose to engage with that or not engage with that on their terms. He's saying, look, it's basically really it is another form of mode one. But it's just at this point casual sex. Saying I want casual sex. Once that woman operates outside of those rules, then basically you basically end the relationship. Now they'll call it being dumped, but that's what it is. It's not I mean, it's not really about. Nobody ever said lying to this woman about getting a relationship. Well, that's what AMS says. Okay, that is what AMS says, so go to AMS channel and basically tell AMS about it. But that's not. Ramil never said that. Ramil never said that that's what he meant, and he's explained it. And a lot of dudes like to imprint their own stuff based on what they used to see other dudes do back in the day. That's all it is. And see, like even when I asked Danielle, I was like, "What's pump and dump to you?" She told me pump and dump was you could be in a relationship 6 months and still be. So basically, what you talking about is any relationship that you feel like the dude got over on you is basically being dumped. Any situation where you feel like the dude won or he and a lot of women do keep score like that. They're like, wow, this dude, and those are the dudes that they want to deal with over and over again. That's pumping up. Most dudes today, if you tell women that you want to be in a relationship with them and that's considered simping, and women will see you as low value. And you've heard women say that. You've heard women say, even Janae, look, the women say, well, dudes, they see dudes that want to be in relationships as overcompensating. The main situation that most women want is they want a dude that's a bad boy. They want a bad boy they can tame. They don't want a dude that starts out as a good man, because a dude that starts out as a good man is a quote unquote nice guy, and therefore he's overcompensating for something that he can't give, he can't otherwise give. That's how they see it. And people would say, well, those a little girl. Okay, fine. But the reality is that's the majority of what's out here. And this idea that you dealing with females that are actually attractive, like sevens, like even upgradable sixes, sevens, and eights, um, you know, sevens, eights, and nines. Like nines and tens are community property anyway. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You be a fucking fool to believe that you can hold that woman down. I don't give a fuck how much money you have. Period. I don't care. Because here's the thing that a lot of dudes don't want to admit to. You being a high value man has nothing. If a dude knows how to fuck the brakes off a bitch to these women, that is equal. There is no amount of money that they're not afraid to risk for that. And that's what these people don't, that's what these motherfuckers don't ever really want to say. Because remember, a lot of these niggas that are high value are not, they don't marry till death do us part. They get divorced. And I'm not saying they get divorced for that reason, but I'm just saying these women want to be in these streets. Like when I heard Kevin talk about, well, his the ex-wives he had, oh, well, they went worldly on him. What do you think that means? That I ain't necessarily saying they jumping in. I ain't necessarily. I'm not like, but what I'm saying is they didn't want to be in a relationship anymore. And like that can mean a lot of different things. But they, but he used the word world, what it is. And that was back in the day. And so people are not really saying that a lot of times these women don't even want marriage like that. And this is why you think you got like white dudes and stuff like that leaving, getting motherfuckers from overseas and stuff. And people want to think you just manhood your way out of that. Well, I'm not, uh, I'm not saying that, like, I'm not saying that all marriages are gonna end and all of that shit. But at the end of the day, man, you know, it is what it is. And as a man, you can always reserve your right to get married. You can always change your mind. But these women can't go into these whole phases and then come out. That's another thing about. So pretty. But yeah. See what y'all got. Yeah, and it is what it is. I mean, I'm not. I mean, people can do what they want. I'm not here to. The niggas want to get married. Go ahead, get married. Protect yourself, but get married. That's all I got to say. I'm not. I'm not about to argue niggas not getting married. I don't care. I know what I'm fucking doing. But anyway, y'all, it's been great. So with that being said, I'm gonna end this. We did a good hour and a half. So this is Edward signing off. Peace. Appreciate the super chats.